Hi, welcome to my channel. I have a stencil here from a Colorful Life Designs that I'm going to be using with my gel press to create some beautiful gel press backgrounds and a beautiful card at the end of the video. I am a design team member for Colorful Life Designs, and I do have a discount code which will be listed below in my description box. So check that out for 10% off your order. I'm using Prize Ribbon Distress Oxide ink. My gel press is square and I have it laying on top of just a piece of cover stock paper. This gel press and others, you are not supposed to lay them straight on top of your silicone mat. It's just not good because I guess the gel press is made of similar material of silicone and you don't want that. I know one thing with my silicone mat, it absorbs things. I noticed that one time I had it on top of the newspaper and I pulled it up and it looked like the comic strips were imprinted on the back. That's my silicone mat, not my gel press. My gel press is pretty new. I got it when I was on Stamp Wars last month. That was for the month of October on Nancy Stamp's YouTube channel. But look at that beautiful impression that gives. All I did was used Prize Ribbon Distress Oxide ink. Well, first I laid the stencil down, then I used prized ribbon on top of my stencil. I brayered it, pulled the stencil off, then used the paper to pull the print. And I'm just cleaning up what's left over here, I'm just using regular photocopy paper that you would use in your photocopier or your printer at home. So here we have the same inked up stencil, and you see there's a lot of ink on top from what I just did. So I'm going to use my brayer and carefully apply pressure on top of this paper, and now I have another print. That print was pretty faint. I would consider that a ghost print. So the ghost print is the second print that you get. So your first print is your primary print, and then you can go in with a piece of paper and go over top of it again, and that's your ghost print. Since this method worked very well for me before, I'm using the Prize Ribbon Distress Oxide, and I'm gently pressing it down on top of this stencil. One thing that's nice about a gel plate, the stencil naturally stays in place. You don't have to use any pixie spray. Don't use pixie spray with this. So I'm taking my brayer and I'm slowly adding more ink on top of this gel press and stencil. And when you apply your ink, you want to go in one direction. If you go in two different directions, then you will actually lift your ink. So you can just roll some more ink right on top. And then I'm going to get my piece of paper and we'll see what this one turns out to be. And then I'll fast forward a little bit so that you can see everything that I create, but I will go in a little bit fast forward just for the sake of time. And when I pull my prints, I just slowly rub the back of the paper and I just give it a chance for that ink to really absorb on the paper. It's that simple. And this one turned out really nice. Don't you just love those intense colors? I do. I will say the Distress Oxide inks are great when you're using gel press and stencils together. There's something about them because they're a hybrid ink and they have some pigment ink to them. They stick really well, I think, to the gel press, and you can get some beautiful prints. I need to remind myself to get my gel press out more often with stencils because this is fantastic. I forget how beautiful you can have beautiful impressions from your stencils. A little bit different than what you would have if you were to ink blend with them with brushes on paper. Off camera, I have the Prize Ribbon ink pad. I'm rolling the brayer over the ink pad, then rolling the brayer in one direction over the stencil. Now I'm just going to pull the stencil off and then pull my paper, put my paper on top of my gel press, and then pull my paper, and you'll see I got a really nice impression there. I love how the background is so filled in, and you can see that stencil so clearly. Now I have these little blending brushes that I purchased off the Amazon. I'll have them linked below in my description box. And I have ink on this stencil, so I'm just rubbing what ink remains on the stencil, and then I do grab some more ink on the ink pad, and I'm just basically trying to fill in everywhere the snowflake is located and not filling in too much elsewhere. So wherever you see the stencil and the snowflake design, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to cover that area with ink. Now I pull my stencil off, grab a piece of paper, rub it gently on top, and then pull. And I really love this one. I think it turned out great. Here it is frozen, so you can see it close up. A lot of nice detail in that one. Okay, now I have the stencil turned at an angle. You don't always have to have your stencil laying dead on. And I'm using that little brush again. It's just like painting, folks. I'm grabbing some ink and I'm rubbing the ink brush on the stencil area. If you're not familiar with the Colorful Life Designs, I would encourage you to check out their website. They've got beautiful stencils for all occasions, lots of really pretty ones for the holiday and the winter season. This is one of my favorites. I'm super glad that I picked this one up. I'm really loving these prints that I'm getting, and I know that I'm going to be able to create some beautiful cards with these images. Again, this is called the Delicate Snowflakes stencil. And like I said before, I will have my design team discount listed in the box below. I moved my stencil off the gel plate and have this beautiful print as a result. I really love how this one turned out because you can see all of the delicateness of this stencil. All right, let's put our stencil back down on the gel plate, and let's go ahead and brush using some Prize ribbon ink. By the way, these little blending brushes are tiny and are actually used for cleaning false eyelashes. There's a real popular trend these days for women to get like these magnetic eyelashes. And these little brushes are delicate enough that they can, I guess, clean those eyelashes. All I know is I use them for this purpose, for stencils that have delicate little nooks and crannies. They work wonderfully. Any kind of ink blending that you're doing where you need to get into a small area, I would highly recommend these brushes. They come in all kinds of colors in different size packs. You can get a 30 pack, or if you want, you can get a 10 pack. And here you'll see the effect. It just reminds me of melting snowflakes when it looks like this. Next, there's still some ink left on my gel plate. I'm going to pull my stencil up, grab a blank sheet of paper, and go ahead and grab a print. And let's see how this looks in slow motion. Oh, 2 pieces of paper. We only need 1. Boy, that's really in slow motion, isn't it? But it's worth it. This is my favorite print of all the prints that I made because I can see the delicateness of this snowflake, even down to the minuscule dots that are engraved with a laser. I know it's really hard for you to see probably, but yeah, this stencil is fantastic. So it's got some beautiful etching with the laser that you really can't see just by looking at it unless you're doing an effect like this. I was super excited to see this. And this is the one that I used to make my card with in the end. I'm sure I'll use the other ones to make other cards, but that one ended up being my favorite. And then I just grabbed some water and sprayed the stencil. It has a lot of residual ink left on it. I thought I would try it. I thought I would give it a try. It's very wet right now, but it actually dries back really, really pretty. Okay, here's the finished card. And hopefully you can see with these photos how nice that gel print looks. And notice the background. I have all the extra prints laying in the background. This sentiment is from Pink Fresh Studios. It's hot foiled. And I have a little snowflake in the bottom right hand corner where I use some foam tape to pop up that snowflake and pop up that sentiment. So thanks so much for watching today. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I would love to have you as a subscriber. Please leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about this card and this gel print technique. And don't forget to head over to A Colorful Life Design to check out all the beautiful stencil. And don't forget to use my discount code to save yourself 10% off. Have a hopeful day. Bye-bye.